Michael Rosenberg, 13030 North Calusa Club Drive. As president of the Kendall Federation of Homeowner Associations, I have the list right here who hasn't fulfilled their seats. Encourage people to use what we already have. Hundreds of thousands of commuters have never tried our transit systems.
The community knows me as the founder of the Pets Trust. Yes, that is me living in an animal cage to help solve our animal overpopulation problem.
There's a lot of people like me that just are not listening to their bodies.
How in the world can you use the word democracy for only the things that you want when you want to win a point, but not for something you didn't agree with?
Me acompaña Michael Rosenberg, que es el candidato para el Distrito 7 como comisionado del Miami-Dade County, el condado de la ciudad. Queremos conversar un poco con él para conocer cuáles son sus intenciones, sus proyectos. ¿Por qué se decidió a postularse como candidato del Distrito 7?
Well, for the last 12 years, I've been a very active community activist, helping people that call me with problems, helping work on our animal overpopulation problem, and it's an endless amount of phone calls of people asking for help, and I really love doing it. And there's been all sorts of issues from recycling to the garbage problems that we have and the water issues that we have and the police and riding around with the fire department, just seeing all sorts of things that are going on. And the problem I always have is that at the end of the day I need commissioners to help create solutions. And that's the roadblock. So I figured if I was actually a commissioner, I could do a lot more than what I've done now. And people will say I've done a lot, but as a commissioner, I could do a lot more.
Michael Rosenberg ha tenido mucha experiencia ya con la comunidad. Entre otras cosas, él es en este momento el presidente de la Federación de Homeowners, de Propietarios de Kendall. Nos gustaría saber cuáles son sus proyectos específicos en caso de que sea electo como comisionado.
I have a whole lot of issues that I want to work on. For example, we have the urban development boundary. That's the line where we say that you can't cross that line to build developments because it's too close to the Everglades. So right now, if we want to move that line so we can build more shopping centers, it takes 9 out of 13 commissioners to vote to do that. Well, I think it should be a lot harder. I think it should be 11 out of 13. And that means that it would require a super plus majority, I call it, 11 out of 13 commissioners to move the line closer and closer to the Everglades. It should be a real challenge to move that line. But that can only happen if the people vote to do it. So I would bring that issue to the voters, and they can decide how much do you want to protect our environment. I would bring a lot of things to the voters. I believe that we're a government of the people, and so I would ask a lot of questions on the ballots to people. And I think when you have a lot of questions on the ballot where you get to make a decision, more people would come and vote. Get the people's opinion, so that'd be a priority too. I'd like to create something, I call it my 111 line. Right now there's supposedly a lot of harassment of police and people of color, and when it happens, we can't find out about it. So what if we created a number where if it does happen, the person can dial 111, and it's a special line set up for people that have been harassed. And we be able to see how bad is it. I went and talked to some black preachers. They told me it's pervasive throughout the community. But I talked to white police officers, and they said it never happens. Well, can you get the records? There's no records. There's no way to call it in. So I think we'd create a special line just for that. In the Black Grove of Coconut Grove, there's no grocery stores. It's called a food desert. I want to bring a grocery store there.
Of course. And, you know, the Miami-Dade County is very well known to have a very big Hispanic community. Maybe some voters will ask, okay, I mean, this candidate doesn't speak Spanish. Do you think that it's an issue?
I don't speak Spanish or German or Russian or Chinese, but I can hear the translation of any language, and I will listen better than anyone you can imagine. First of all, I have a degree in music, so I'm finally attuned to listening. So when someone it translates whatever the words are to English, you can know you have a friend that will help you solve the problem. So it won't matter.
I would like to know something about you. You just mentioned that you have a master in music. So you are a musician. You are officially a musician that is going to the county. Él es un músico. Michael Rosenberg tiene un máster en piano sacado de la Universidad de Miami.
Most people think I'm Michael Rosenberg, the lawyer, and if they really knew, I'm Michael Rosenberg, the pianist. And so I call myself the political pianist. So I have great empathy for people. That comes from being surrounded and being able to feel music. I'm not talking about just listen to music. I'm talking about feeling music. So much so that I've written songs. And one song was recorded by Jose Luis Rodriguez, El Puma, Todo Cambia, Todo Sigue Igual, I said it right. And I've written other songs, which I have some great plans for. And you just can't go on Amazon and order a song. That has to come from some place so deep inside that you can't explain where it comes from. I would be a person that's up on the commission dais listening to all sorts of issues and listening in a way that I don't think many people have experienced.
El señor Rosenberg también ha hecho una gran labor como activista por los animales. Ha creado el trust de las mascotas. I would like to know a little bit about that pet trust, how that happened.
Well, like many people living here, I had no idea what was going on at the animal shelter, Dade County Animal Shelter. I just knew that you could go adopt an animal there, and I did. But that's when I started asking some questions about what goes on there. And I said, do you kill animals in this shelter? And the answer was, fortunately, we do. How many do you kill? 20,000 a year. Wow. You're killing 20,000 animals every year? 60 or 70 every day? Yeah, that's what we do. There's that many sick animals? No, none of them are sick. Millions of dollars to do that. And nobody was working on solving the problem. So
excuse me, to kill the animals, we are spending money?
oh yeah. First I have to live there for 4 or 5 days, hoping maybe they belong to somebody. So that costs money and taking care of them. And then you have the medicine when you kill them and burying, cremate. That's awful. Millions of dollars. I mean, every year. You can spay and neuter an animal for $60 an animal, and it was costing almost $300 to kill one. That's when I went to Animal Services and I said, this is insane, this is what you're doing. How much would it cost to solve this? And they did some calculation, and they said it would cost $20 million could fix our problem. Because for $20 million, we could spay or neuter like 120,000 animals a year. Well, it's a community problem. We have to reach out to the community. And I found out that to raise that much money, we'd have to raise our property taxes a certain amount, which would have been an average of about $20 per home. And if the community was willing to do that, that fund would help create these programs. And so the commissioners and the mayor, they allowed us to do this. They put it on the ballot. It was non-binding because you can't vote to raise your taxes in Florida. Mm-hmm. But it would give a message. I lived in an animal cage for 3 days to get the message out because to educate 2.8 million people, I mean, you got to do something dramatic. So I lived in an animal cage for 3 days, and when the vote finally came, almost 500,000 people voted to raise their taxes for animals. It's an unbelievable
How was
story.
the experience in that dog cage?
Well, it was hot, it was dirty, it was... People would come by. The best part was when people came by with their children, and the child would say, "Why is that man living in the cage?" And the answers were always the same. When you believe in something, that's how you fight for it. And that's part of the reason that I want to be a commissioner, because I want to ask people what they want. And then if it's something that has to be voted on, put those things on the ballot and let's do it. Let's vote on these things. That's the lesson from the Pets Trust.
El eslogan de Michael Rosenberg para esta campaña, para ser electo como comisionado por el Distrito 7 en el Miami-Dade County, es Help me to help you. Vamos a ver si nos lo dice en español. Do you know how to say that in Spanish?
Ayúdame a ayudarte.
And what does it mean?
Help me help you. And what it means is, if you help me get elected, I can help you when I'm in office. So I need your help, and then you will get my help.